All right, everyone. Well, welcome back, and we are very luckily joined this morning by a UFC standout and a mainstay of the featherweight division, 50K Dan Ige. So, Dan, look, firstly, thank you.
Your audio is kind of cutting out.
Good news.
Cutting out? Is that a bit better? There we go.
All right, guys.
So, Dan, with featherweight arguably being the most stacked it's ever been as a division, with a litany of top contenders from top to bottom, are there any specific fighters in the division that you would really like to test yourself against?
You said you nailed it right on the head. Literally, it's such a stacked division, and if you put myself in there against literally anyone, it's going to be a great fight. And every guy from rank number 1 to 15 is a true test. And for me right now, I mean, I've fought a lot of the standout names in the division, and I'm just I'm honestly just taking a step back from actually like looking at the opponent and working on myself, because at the end of the day, it really is like, you hear it before, like from a lot of people, they'll say it's me against me. And that's what it comes down to when you step in the cage on fight night, is like believing in yourself 100% that you're going to get it done. Against who, like, it doesn't matter against who, but yeah, I mean, if you could put myself against anyone, like, I believe Volkanovski's the best guy out there right now. He's the pound for pound GOAT, and that would be the guy to test yourself against if you wanted to test yourself against anyone, because he has that number 1 ranking in the pound for pound, not even just the featherweight, but in the pound for pound. Do I see myself getting that fight soon? Probably not. I definitely got to work my way back up, but it's possible. And all I know is whoever I get in there against next is going to be a banger. And I'm just excited, and I'm just awaiting for the next test.
Then obviously, look, last time you didn't go your way in a hard fought contest with Mozbayev. Being the fight was a few months ago now, and you sort of had that time to reflect on the fight. What do you think was is the biggest or sort of most prominent aspect of that fight that you look to improve on next time around?
I touched on it a little bit, just like the mental side. I had 17 weeks to prepare for that fight, and I worked my ass off, and I trained harder than ever. I trained with Khabib for 3 weeks. I trained with Justin Gaethje for 3 weeks. I went out and trained with Henry Cejudo because I had so much time, and I was like, I'm going to use this time to my advantage and try to learn from everyone. But through seeking advice, through all these like GOATs, whatever you want to call them, you almost question yourself, because everyone has such a different way of, like, a different approach. Like Khabib has his approach, like no strength and conditioning, all grappling, all sparring, all wrestling, whatever. But he doesn't believe in strength and conditioning. Then you got a guy like Henry Cejudo, who's very dialed in on the scientific side of, like, the scientific approach as far as peaking accordingly, and the distance game. Then you got a guy like Justin Gaethje, who's just straight chaos and will go in there and put himself in the fire. And when I step in that cage, I have to believe in my own self and my own training. And it's not about like, okay, who am I going to believe? Am I going to believe in Khabib's training? Am I going to believe in Kamaru's training, Henry's training, Dustin's training? No, I have to believe in my training. And not saying that I wasn't confident going into that fight, but there was just so much time leading up to that fight, and just daily stress that builds up. And I just didn't perform how I felt I could have, or I should have performed on that night. And that being said, had I been at my absolute best, result could have still been the same. But that's my personal reflection on the whole fight, is like, man, just stepping in that cage confident as ever. And it doesn't matter. It's coming down to believing in myself. So that's honestly what I've been working on since my fight in June, is just building myself back up. Yeah. And getting myself ready for the next one, because there's nothing I could do about it. It sucks. I lost a few now, but I still believe I'm getting better, and I'm figuring these things out along the way. And it just sucks that it has to come through a loss. but I believe the best version of myself will come out through this.
Yep, for sure. And that somewhat leads into my next question. So, Dan, back in June, you talked about how you had become a little bit bitter towards the sport. Can you speak to how you overcame that, as it would have been a unique place to be in where you do maybe become a bit bitter towards a sport that you clearly love so much and have dedicated so much of your life to?
Yeah, I did actually, and it's, you know what, because I when I first moved to Vegas, and I worked with Ali for maybe 5 or 6 years, and I was working as a manager, running around doing everything for fighters. I was always the guy that was kind of in the shadows, but I wanted to be somewhere, like I wanted to be, like I saw how well Ali treated his guys and how he took care of all the fighters fight week. And I was the one running around doing most of the errands, making sure everyone was taken care of. But I was in the shadows working hard because I wanted to be that guy. And I wanted to be, you know, the guy in the spotlight, the guy that's getting the fame, the guy that's claiming glory with his hand raised at the end of the day, and the UFC. And, you know, I got to learn the business side through all of that and learn the negotiations, learn the money factors, learn like picking right fights and this and that. And I was so involved with the sport that by the time I actually had like my wife and I had her son, Bam, like, and I took a step back from doing a lot of the management stuff. It's like I was able to focus more on myself and my family and like what truly matters. And through all that, and then all like just everyone speaking up about fighter pay and this and that, and like just seeing like a lot of different managers, like they manage, I don't want to like name names, but they have a lot of fighters and their fighters fight each other and kill each other off, but it's like they're getting double paydays and essentially killing one's career so they can benefit. And it's just like I got a lot of like hatred towards that side of the sport and just seeing all that stuff going on. And it's like, so for me, I guess it came to just stepping back and like kind of disconnecting myself from the sport and the business. And I had to go through that and fight with that type of hatred, I guess. And I feel like it almost takes away from me actually performing and competing. And again, this is like no excuse for me like falling short, but this is just, it's just little things that take away from excellence and from performing at your very best. And for me right now, it's literally just been disconnecting and coming in with myself. And you know, it came back to self-care and taking care of myself and then taking care of my family, and then everything else I feel like, you know, I can do much better in. But when I was broken, I'm trying to give to my family, but I have nothing to give, and I still have to compete in a sport that, you know, I don't say I don't love it anymore, because I still love it. I love competing and I love training. I love getting better and improving. But like from like a broken state of mind, it's hard to put all those things into the bigger picture of what actually matters. And, you know, so through these losses, I've definitely learned a lot and I just grounded myself again. I went back home. I went back to Hawaii and just rooted myself again. And I just been spending a lot of time with family, and I don't know. I'm ready to go again. I'm telling my wife like I want to fight again because I got that fire back. I'm excited and I'm itching and I'm just ready to go.
Awesome. Well, Dan, that kind of is a segue into my next question, which is going off your record. You're definitely a guy that loves activity. You know, you fought 3 times in 2021, 3 times in 2022, and then twice in 2019, 2018. So, being that this was your first fight for 2022, would you like to return this year, or is taking some more time and sort of building that fire up a bit more and returning next year something you'd be more interested in?
Honestly, like I'm ready to go right now. I've built myself, and this is one thing I learned too. Like you can build yourself up, but if you stop working on it, like just because I'm good now, if I stop working on it, it's so easy to just fall back down into that hole. So I've built myself up, and I'm continuing to build myself. Obviously, I could still improve and continue to get stronger, but I'm ready to go right now, and I want to take full advantage of that I think it's important for a fighter to fight when he's hungry, and I feel hungry right now. So I'm just ready to go. It really doesn't even matter who and as a manager perspective, obviously, I should be taking a smart fight, but I'm just so hungry that it really doesn't matter. And I just want to go.
Yeah, for sure. So, Dan, you've spoken about how you want no easy route to the top and you want to be remembered for essentially fighting everyone and anyone, on your way to the top of this sport. And your career is so far as a testament to that. Do you feel that your career path in taking that approach has also helped your growth as a person outside of the cage?
Totally. And honestly, it's probably not the smartest approach as far as managing a career to the championship, but as far as my life and testing myself, it's definitely built me up into the person I am today. I want to set an example for my son and my son's sons and daughters. I want to be just known like dad never took the easy way out. Dad always, he chose the hard way. And, I've always been a big believer of hard work and, dedicating yourself. And I've never not achieved something I set out to do. Obviously I still have some goals inside of me that I have not yet achieved, but I haven't given up on them and I'm still working towards those goals. So, does that come from me fighting the best guys? Possibly, but I think that's something that's always just been rooted inside of me. And I don't know, man. I honestly believe I'm one of the best fighters in the world, top 5 if I'm on point, and I believe I'm on point right now, and I'm just ready to go out there and test it. This is just me talking, but I actually have to go out there and prove it, and I have to prove to myself. And yeah, I get excited talking about it, but yeah.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Dan, being a proud Hawaiian like yourself, and with UFC having Hawaiian fighters like yourself and Max Holloway and Punahele Soriano to name a few, what has it been like seeing the growth of MMA thanks to guys like yourself?
Man, it's been great. Sadly, Hawaii MMA, due to the whole world lockdown this past couple years, like Hawaii MMA kind of died a little bit, and there hasn't been any competition, which is it's sad because there's so much potential and so many like young kids that are hungry that want to go out there and compete, but there was just never a platform for them to go and compete on. And a lot of these regional scenes aren't going to fly kids from Hawaii out because it's just expensive to fly someone from an island when they can find a local kid that they don't even have to fly. So I'm just glad things are starting to open back up. They're starting to put on shows again in Hawaii. And for me, when I was coming up, seeing guys like BJ Penn obviously was the champion at the time. Then Max Holloway got into UFC at 4-0, but he was just a young kid my age that was going out there and competing and testing himself against the best. So I'm just trying to follow in those guys' footsteps and be an example and show that just a small kid from Hawaii can go out there and accomplish great things. They just have to in themselves and go after it. If they believe they can do it, they certainly can if they put in the work behind it. So I'm really excited for the growth of Hawaii MMA. I think there will be a lot more to come after myself, after Puna, after Max, after Brad, all these guys. There's a bunch of young killers back home that are just hungry and waiting for their own shot and their own opportunity.
For sure. So, Dan, stepping back to your amateur career, how important was that period for your development as a martial artist where there's maybe less pressure than in your professional career, where as an amateur, you can explore, you can be creative, you can try new things? How important was your amateur career for your development?
Yeah, I think I had about 11 amateur fights. I was 9-2 as an amateur. It was really important for me. And I almost like fighting in Hawaii. I mean, you can almost call those pro fights, but they're not. Just because of the talent pool there. When I was coming up, everyone was like such great strikers. I don't know why. It's just like, I think in Hawaiian MMA, just a lot of kids just start out in kickboxing and they're just super talented. And I actually came up the other end of the spectrum where I was a grappler. I was a jiu-jitsu guy. Then I started wrestling. Then I started fighting. So, and I had zero striking most of my amateur career. So it was scary to go against like a high level striker when I had no striking to even defend myself. So, and some of these guys I couldn't take down. I just had to beat them through sheer willpower. And it was a good test for me to come up and, fight up some of Hawaii's best top prospects. But I definitely say the amateur career gave me a lot of confidence going into my professional career. Just having that experience and getting to fight and, getting to fight in like we fought in like bars, we fought in little like conference rooms, we fought in like the craziest places, and I got to fight in the Blaisdell Arena, which is like one of Hawaii's bigger arenas, and that was like the big show at the time, the big stage. And just getting all those fights under my belt as an amateur definitely gave me the confidence and experience that I needed, going into my pro career.
Dan, look, last question from us, man. We won't keep you too long. I know you've got training to get to, so we'll let you do that. But last one from us, man, is I remember seeing a few months ago you posted a coffee reel with the influence from your wife, Savannah, and I've got to say, you got quite a nice little home setup, with the scales and the machine and all. I actually used to work as a barista here in Australia and make coffee every day. So it is something that does turn into a hobby, trying to perfect that morning coffee and getting rid of the jar coffee and trying to make a good home coffee. So what made you sort of get into being a home sort of coffee connoisseur, if you will?
Yeah, that's a good one. I've always had like a love and passion for drinking coffee. I drink mainly espresso, and I started with I had a Keurig, then I like updated. I was like, screw this sucks. Like it sucks. Yeah. And then like Starbucks, like I hate all that stuff. But like every time I travel, I always try to go to like a good little local coffee shop and try different espressos and whatever they got. And so far, nothing beats my house. I don't know. I think it's just like the love and passion you pour into it, and I able to invest in my own like a good grinder, a good machine, and it's just part of my routine every day. And I should post some more content on that, because I like to see other stuff other than like hit mitts all the time. But I really love and enjoy it. I got a good Mothership Coffee out here in Vegas. I get really nice beans from there. They get from all over the world, Ethiopia, Colombia, or whatever, Peru, all the good spots. So they roast them fresh here in Vegas, and I usually get them like the next day after they roast them. So it's one of my passions for sure. Who knows, after fighting, maybe I'll get into the coffee business, but we'll see.
100%. Well, look, if you ever need some coffee, I'll send you some from the Gold Coast. We got some good specialty coffee out here. But
I've heard.
Yeah, some
thank
good
you.
ones. But Dan, look, man, want to say massive thank you for giving me some time. I remember seeing your fight against Edson Barboza, watching it in a pub here in Australia. So to sit here and chat with you, sitting here and chat with you today is a massive honour for both of us. So we can't wait to see you get back. We know you got the fire, and we can't wait to witness it. So look forward to seeing you get back in there, man. And we would love to chat to you next time around.
Awesome, right on. Thank you guys. Appreciate your guys' time.
Thanks very much, man.
Thank you, brother.